Well, internet giant Google announced today it will purchase cell phone company Motorola Mobility. That's top news affecting your money. The deal will cost Google $12.5 billion and will be Google's biggest acquisition yet. Motorola already manufactures several smartphones that come preloaded with Google's Android software. The move will put Google even closer to Apple. Its chief competitor in the smartphone market also controls both software and hardware for its devices. Google expects to close the deal by the end of 2011 or early 2012. And here with more on that Google buy is Dan Thompson from Claris Networks. Always love having you on. Weigh in. What's your reaction?
Man, this is big news. This is really big news. So up until this point, Google has just provided the market with a really nice operating system. They had two phones that were marginally successful. Really, they just did it as an experiment, more or less. Now, with them buying Motorola Mobility, they're going to have direct influence and even direct control over what these phones look like coming out, and really can start to shape the product more from a hardware standpoint as well as a software standpoint.
Do you think now that they're on board, it's going to drive up the price of smartphones, or could the competition make them more affordable?
Well, I mean, anytime that something like this happens, you kind of have to ask that question. I would guess, if anything, it's going to drive the price down.
Okay.
Simply because they have, like I said, they've got direct control over this hardware now, and they can kind of start to play around in that realm, whereas before, you know, they just provided the operating system and then all the other phones battled it out, and, you know, it doesn't really help one company over the other to start cutting its prices when you can buy 5 more. You know, there's 5 other manufacturers out there doing kind of the same thing. So,
having said that, how competitive is the smartphone market right now?
It's extremely competitive. It's extremely competitive, and, you know, Apple, of course, you know, they are marketing geniuses. They own this name. If you think of a smartphone, immediately the iPhone comes to mind. I can't imagine that Google would want to do anything less than unseat them and just kind of be that name brand. Of course, you know, with Motorola, if you think of an Android phone, the word droid pops in your mind, and that's a Motorola phone. Yeah. So, I mean, they're getting a toe in, you know, anytime, like I said, you know, anytime you think of droid, that's a Motorola device. So, you know, they've got a really good start here. Motorola is probably one of the bigger, if not the biggest player in the Android market.
What about the consumer? What does this mean for us?
Yeah, I think it's a big win for us, actually, because you know, with all these phone manufacturers, there's a bit of saturation there, and you know, you don't really see just a whole lot of new development, so to speak. You know, when these new phones come out, you're like, well, that's neat, but there's no real reason to upgrade. Now that Google has direct influence on that, I think we'll start seeing new innovative things come out. Also, Motorola was kind of notorious for having their phones locked down so that users really couldn't do to the full extent what you could with maybe some of the other manufacturers' phones. I am 100% positive that's one of the first things that Google will do, is make sure all that functionality is unlocked. When you get your device, you can do whatever you want to with it. So for us, the consumer, it's going to be a freer market. These phones are going to be unlocked and literally do just about anything you want to with them.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's great.
Always good to see you. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, and stay with us. We're coming back.